Tony's right. Oh my god. I was like, I have to like figure this out. Hold on. I showered and then I had to do laundry. It was just a lot. It's a lot going on. And I'm just tired. More tired than usual. But I was like, I feel like I can do this video and it'd be like decent. And then like I do it and I'm like, I fucking hate it. Anyway, this is going to be upload for Monday. It's going to be a review of Guinness on the QUAY by Richard Peabody. A little bit about how I got this book. I went to Eastern Shore Writers Association like conference. I'm already like fucked up with like needing to go to sleep. But yeah, I went to the writing conference this past spring, and got like a series of books, one of them being like the Alphabet of Mourning, and then I got Richard Peabody's Guinness on the QUAY, and in addition I got like a few more books from that place. I think I got like 5 books, so that's where I got it. I never knew any of the people that I got the books, like the books that I bought. Like I didn't know any of the poets. I had never heard them mentioned. I never saw the names in articles. They were completely like new to me. So I just decided to go out on a limb and get them. So I started working my way through them. I finished Alphabet of Mourning, which I gave a review for already. And now we're kind of like the second book of the 5 or whatever. It is Richard Peabody's. So Richard Peabody, based on this, I'll read the kind of like bio, whatever, in the book. So he's a native of Washington, D.C., went to University of Maryland, American University, which I believe that's D.C. Some earlier poetry collections of his are I'm in Love with the Morton Salt Girl, Sad Fashions, Blue Vertigo, and Speed and Forced by Aircraft. He's the remaining founding editor of Gargoyle magazine, and he's been editor or co-editor of 20 plus anthologies, including Mondo Barbie, Mondo Elvis, Conversations with Gore Vidal, and A Different Beat, writings by women of the Beat generation. He's the author of a novella, 2 short story collections, and then he taught fiction at Hopkins. When I say Hopkins, I mean Johns Hopkins University. And so he had a recent book, The Richard Peabody Reader, and then he has anthology credits with different presses. Salmon Poetry, which is, this is where this book is published through, which is based in Ireland, I think, if I remember reading it correctly. Radipollox Press, Salt Publishing, Givell Press, or Givell. Coffee House, EJP, Right Bloody Publishing, and then GargoyleMagazine.com. You can still find online. So that's a quick thing. SalmonPoetry.com, yeah, is where they publish it. So publishing Irish and international poetry since 1981. Okay, cool. So my review of this, there were parts that I enjoyed, and then parts I was kind of like, no. Isn't that how they always go? I felt like for me, I don't think I would go to this book for me if I wanted examples of writing that I am aligned with. So I'm gonna just like put that out there right now. I don't feel aligned with this poetry, but I'm okay that I read it because I like being exposed to many different poets, authors, etc. to help me with my writing. So I did enjoy like some of the poetry that dealt with like which one did I like? So it's kind of funny because I also like the shorter poems. I felt like where there was a lot of space in between, I felt like there was more intentionality to make a concrete, like, not concrete image, but I think a concrete poem that, like, because you're using like 20 words at most or something like that, there's just a level of intentionality that you have to like elevate to get it, like, to get like a very coherent poem. Even if the intention is to be incoherent, like, you have to kind of coherently make it incoherent, you know? So I really enjoy the shorter poems of Richard Peabody. And I enjoyed them because I felt like it gets to the point. Like, I feel like sometimes short poetry can do, like, when it's like only 1 or 2 lines or 1 or 2 stanzas or whatever, and it's like 2 or 3 lines a stanza. It can be that kind of, I was writing about this. I'm starting a newsletter. I'm gonna do a video about that. But like, I was mentioning like the pseudo intellectual, like fake deep type shit. Like, people like, I'm just gonna write like 2 lines and it's gonna be like the best thing ever. And it's like, I like these poems are short, but they let you in. And I think that the word choice also helps because it felt like it's plainly written. It's not like trying to use like overly flowery language, which is something that I actually enjoy about this poetry a lot across the board. One of my favorite ones out of this collection is All the Lost Crayons. And so he details like several crayon colors whose names have been shifted, or like they've just been discontinued or whatever, over the years. And so one of them's Prussian blue, one of them's flesh, one of them's Indian red. And he deep dives into kind of like what he misses about either the name or the color, what he used to color, and kind of like this reflective point about things. I don't know, there's something about that I really enjoyed about that. I felt like I liked his poems when they were reflecting on things, but I didn't like the form that they took most of the time. Because most of it, I felt like it's like, looks like that, but then it looks like this, but then it reads like narrative. So to me, I felt like I was reading it and I felt like weighed down because it felt like there was just so much detail that I felt like a prose poem, like a block paragraph, would have made more sense a little bit for what we were going for. And I was just like, I mean, obviously he didn't see it that way, but for me, I just felt like very exhausted reading the poems that were like several blocks of like more narrative style, like poem, like lines. And I was just like, oh my God, like, I didn't like those. I really didn't. Because I kind of also felt like I was looking to get to the point of it all. And so when those poems were like, when I was reading those poems, I just felt like it wasn't a fun time for me. I just liked the shorter poems. I liked the poems that took this sort of format where there was a lot of intentional space in between the lines, because that also helped me to read a little bit more. And the more I read, the more I'm like, am I dyslexic? Because I be like taking out stuff and putting stuff in. It'd be a whole mess. So I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the poem. I just enjoyed the poems that read like this. I just felt like I could find maybe associations a lot better. I felt like I wasn't getting lost in like just verbiage. And again, even if I didn't understand quite fully the memory that was being unlocked, or like the story that was being conveyed as he saw it or whatever, I just appreciated that ability to be clear with fewer words, because it's not like the language itself took on a certain tone, like a different tone when it was longer. It just felt like I felt like there was extraneous details to this that I felt like didn't need to be there. Like a sentence was like, we went down to the beach and like the girl over there was wearing a red shirt. But it's like you're mentioning all this stuff, like the red shirt, but like does that come back up again? Like does it really need to be? It felt like that. It felt like I didn't need a lot of the details. And, you know, that's where it is. And frankly, some of the memories, I was like, okay. I enjoyed the poems that was reflecting on, like, fatherhood, I believe. And observing, like, children and just being around children and thinking about what that meant. But for the most part, I didn't like the traveling. Because it was, like, I feel like a few ways, like, traveling. I wasn't interested in those. I enjoyed this one a lot. I enjoyed these kind of together. Again, the flow of them helps when it's like this space for me. So this is Anna Livia Plurabelle. And then it runs into Jimi Hendrix Sestina, which is the only one out of all of these like very long things, long poems, that I enjoyed. And I don't know, I just felt like it read kind of like there was some meaning to this experience. Some, I don't know, I won't say real meaning, but some meaning to this experience that made it seem, because it's the experience of like music within a certain time period and understanding the culture of consuming that music a little bit. It just felt more it's like holy. I can't really fully describe because it's not universal experience, but there's something about this experience maybe being a part of a certain time period of experiences. I don't want to say zeitgeist because I'm writing a review of something else that mentions zeitgeist type stuff, but it kind of captures that, and I kind of feel like I like that approach and that frame of reference and that perspective versus the other perspectives where I feel like there's like just a retelling of a story or a recalling of a memory. This one feels like it's attached to like there's some questioning of being there that I like pick up on a little bit. I don't know, it just feels a lot more questioning. Yeah. So, yeah. Would I read it again? Maybe not. But do I appreciate the writer for what they have done, the poet for what they've done? Yes. And obviously, there is a market for what this poet is doing because they've been in the industry for like 30 plus years. So there is, 50 years really. They've been in the industry for like 50 years, so there is a market for what their vision is. I think I really enjoy this poet writer as like I would probably enjoy him as a professor because I actually ended up taking the thing with him. During the conference, I ended up taking not a poetry, but like a writing, like one of the writing sessions with him. And I loved the prompts that he gave. So I would actually, if he had like an online class or something like that, like I think I would like that a little bit better, because one of the prompts he gave was like a new type of weather, and that one was really interesting. And the people who like volunteered their stuff came up with really nice examples, and I feel like his prompts helped got you thinking, and I like that. So I would definitely yeah, take a course with them. Anyway, so that is my review. Guinness on the Quay, Richard Peabody. Like I said, I enjoyed the works that had a lot more spacing in between, like visual spacing. It just read better for me. Shorter poems read better for me. I just felt like the longer ones, I was just like not into it. It just felt like it kept explaining itself and explaining circumstances, and I was like, I don't want to read fiction. I don't want to read memoir, like a standard book. I just want to read this. And I just feel like, I don't know, I feel like I said, the prosy kind of way of writing just felt very like bogged down. Very bogged down. Anyway, that's about it. Did I like drink my soda all the way? Yeah, I did. Okay, good. All right. That's it. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.